Hey there neighbors, Kevin here with etrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the RoadMaster 6-pole wiring socket here on our 2025 Ram 1500. So for our diode wiring, we are going to need a 6-pole socket, so that way we can transfer that signal over from our motorhome back to the towed vehicle. And depending on which kit you go with, you might not have all of the things that you're going to need. Now this is the second vehicle that our neighbor is going to be towing, so he already has the 7-wire to 6-wire cable, so he didn't need that included in the kit. And then depending on the tow bar you pick up, you might actually have that wire already included as well as a 6-pole socket. So that's where, when we're doing these diode kits, you really need to kind of just double check that you're getting each component that you're going to need for the whole full setup. So in this case, we did get this one separately. As far as install goes, it is pretty simple. One other thing you might want to pick up that's not going to be included with it as well is going to be some RTV sealant. So that way, once you have it all wired up, you can goop it all up with that sealant and protect all of your connections, so that way they're not going to get corroded. Stick around and I'll show you how I got it wired up. Starting off our install, we'll have all of our wire here. We want to make sure that we have our boot on here first, so I'm going to slide this over all of my wiring because it's super easy to forget this, and then once you have it wired up, you're going to have to take it all right back off to get that boot back on. So we'll push that up in there. Now I have already stripped back my casing. We only want about 1/4 inch of wire exposed because we have a very small inlet for that wire to go into. Now looking at the back side here, all of this is going to be labeled, and what we're going to be using is the top one right here, which is labeled TM, and that is going to be for our running light circuit. To the left of that is GD for ground, then LT for left turn, RT for right turn, and then in the center is going to be for our charge line kit, or if you had a reverse light circuit, but typically in this case we're not going to be using that. Starting out with our charge line, because I just don't have as much slack as I do with the rest, I'm going to put that in my center input. Press that in nice and tight, and we will screw down that set screw. Give it a little tug, good to go. And from there, we're going to have brown for our running lights. If you need to, you can kind of push back some of your wiring. Tighten that up. That one's good. Next is our ground. So let's sneak that over. Left turn, and on our diode wiring, that's going to be yellow. And then green is going to be our right turn. And this last terminal labeled S we're not going to be using, so I'm just going to tighten that set screw down. And what I also like to do, even though we have this boot to help protect our wiring, it is going to be a major difference if you also shoot a little bit of RTV sealant in there as well to help protect your connection, so that way nothing in there is going to be able to get corroded. And typically if you do have an issue and you did have to pull this apart, RTV sealant, once it dries, is pretty easy to just rip right out, and it comes out pretty cleanly. So if you were using some other kind of sealant, you might have a lot of stuff to sit there and scrape off. So RTV is going to be the way to go. And I'm going to use these self-tapper screws that were included with our base plate, so that way I can mount this up. Well, I think that does it for our look at and installation of the RoadMaster 6-pole socket here on our 2025 Ram 1500. My name's Kevin, and if you still have some questions about what's the right 6-pole socket for your Ram 1500, please feel free to reach out to us via our Ask the Experts link, a comment on this video, or a phone call to our customer service department. We'd be happy to help you out on your journey.